Awesome. Thank you so much, Jessica, and thank you so much to the board for asking me to do this. Um, it fits hand in hand with what Michelle was just talking about at the beginning of warm up. So, I have a series of stretches. A lot of them are hand wrist stretches, but some to help warm up and stretch our intercostal muscles. We all know this already as clarinet players. We sit in one place for a very long time. And so I hope that these stretches are things that you can do between lessons or between rehearsals, or even when you're sitting typing away answering emails to all of your students, you can pick up some of these stretches too. Um, so like Michelle said, a lot of what we're doing is also just being very mindful of our body. So I'd like to start by just wherever you are, sitting or standing, you can gently close your eyes if you'd like to, and just hone in on your breath and gently breathe in and out like you usually do. And just see how that feels for you in your body right now. So, when we're playing every day or when we're typing away on emails, we all know this is a super repetitive motion, especially when we're trying to hammer out a certain passage in Daphnis and Chloe or whatever you're working on. This is extremely repetitive, and a lot of repetitive motions can lead to some long term problems. So, these stretches that I'll take you through are, I hope that you have a chance to do them once, twice, a few times a day, and every day to help offset some of those issues that could come up if we have some sort of repetitive motion going on. If we play cold, just like if you were to go for a walk or go for a run without stretching, we might feel that our muscles are really tight, especially if you start your warm ups or start to practice early in the morning. And tight muscles are really at the risk of injury. So when we do these stretches and we do these hand exercises and upper body exercises, this helps to lengthen the muscles to add some more flexibility and mobility, and in turn reduce the risk of some injury. So if we bring ourselves back to our breath, and we'll just go through a little bit of a body map quickly. And so I'll take you through head to toe and just check in. Is your body stiff or sore or tense in some of these places? And you're welcome to stop and just breathe into some of the places that might feel a little bit more tense and see if we can start to relax a little bit. So, whether you're sitting or standing or laying down, go ahead and deep inhale in through your nose and out through your mouth. And we're going to start at the top of our head. So just imagine that we're allowing all of our muscles to relax at the top of your head, at the scalp, kind of like if we, kind of gross, but if we broke an egg yolk over the top of your head, can you feel it kind of drip down? Same thing with your skin. Can you just feel it drip down? We'll bring our attention to our jaw. If you want to let your jaw hang open just a little bit to release that. And then breathe into the back of your neck. Like Michelle said, I'm the same way. If there's any tension in my shoulders or my neck, I totally can start to feel it in my jaw too. So it's okay to just kind of sit there and let that jaw fall open a little bit. And then we'll follow our body down our right shoulder, down to your right elbow, down to your wrist, and just let your arm hang there. And then follow all the way from your wrist to the tip of your thumb, to the tip of your forefinger, your middle finger, your ring finger, your pinky. And then go ahead and do the same on the other side. So you can even make that motion, follow it from your ear, through the side of your neck, through your left shoulder, down your elbow, down your wrist, and then to the tip of every finger, to your thumb, your pointer, your middle finger, your ring finger, and your pinky. And always check in with your breath. And if you're standing, go ahead and follow your body all the way from your hips to your heels to the balls of your feet, and trust that the ground is going to hold you up. If you're sitting down, follow that path to your hips and really feel all of your weight just sink down into that chair. And then we'll follow one leg at a time. So here's your right leg. We'll go from our hip to our knee, down to our heel, to the ball of your foot, and then out to each end of the toe, and just let your weight sink down. So through your big toe, all the way to your pinky. If you feel some stiffness, I always shift a little in my seat or wiggle my hips a little bit, because if my hips get locked up and my toes might start to crunch a little bit, that can add a little bit of tension too. And then we'll do the same thing. So go ahead, nice deep breath, and we're gonna follow down the right side. So from our hip to our knees, down our leg to our ankle, and then out to each toe. And again, maybe you just feel it release and melt into the ground a little bit. And again, you can sway your body if you need to, sway the hips a little bit, and just feel like your body is now grounded into the ground just a little bit more. Go ahead and blink your eyes open. And throughout all of this, just remind yourself that we need our air, we need our oxygen. So I'll remind you once in a while to keep those breaths going. So we're gonna warm up and add some mobility into our shoulders and our upper back. So we can take our hands to our shoulders, and we're gonna bring our elbows in to gently touch, and then bring them up as far as they can go. And then draw a nice big circle with your elbows back, all the way down. And then we can repeat this a few times. So if you feel in here, for me, in this position, it's super tight. So if you feel a tight spot, you can sit and breathe into it for a second. Hold it as long as you need to. And we'll do each exercise for about 1 minute, just to really breathe in and to let it sink into our stretching. We all know that we can hunch over super easily, especially when we're practicing or writing emails. So this is really good to just open up those shoulders, add some mobility to our shoulders. And we'll do 1 or 2 more. Again, stopping in any places that might feel really tense to you. Great, and then you can shake it out. And then we'll add some shoulder circles. So you can do 1 circle at a time. You can do both shoulders if you'd like to. And as slow as you need to. Again, if there's any spot that you need to really breathe into, go ahead and do that. And then eventually we will keep that mobility going. Every time you bring those shoulders back, can you feel them squeeze a little bit together? And then let them slide down your back. So we'll do just a few more. You can make that motion a little bit bigger by getting your elbows involved. Do a little interpretive dance if you'd prefer. You can get your entire arm involved with it too. And again, stopping if there's any point that you want to breathe into just a little bit more. Great. Okay, now we'll hone in onto our hands. So we'll just start with some hand blinks. So when we're practicing, we're in this kind of closed position. And so many times if we start to get into a tense position, it's almost like if we're making fists all the time. So with our blinks right here, if you can really exaggerate that open position, just enough to feel a stretch. If on any of these you feel pain, just go to the point where it feels like a good stretch and not to the point of pain. So a lot of the stretches that I like to start with in my practice sessions include some sort of movement. So you can also start with static stretches. There are a lot of research that supports starting with stretches that stay still. There are a lot of stretches that support this kind of movement at first. So I always think it feels good for me to start with movement. With this blink, you can start to go faster and faster if you'd like to, but really exaggerating that open position just to offset, again, that fist or that tighter position that we can often find ourselves in when we're practicing. Great, super. And go ahead and hold your hands out in front of you. And we're just gonna wave to say hello to the point that feels good for you. And while we're doing this, you might start to recognize and realize and feel that your forearm is involved, that your upper arm is involved. You might feel some motion here in your shoulders as well. And that might start to increase your range of motion, how far you can go each side. Excellent. And all the while, still breathing into this, giving fresh oxygen to our blood. Super. And go ahead and shake it out. Excellent. And then remind ourselves of, if we give ourselves some shoulder rolls, in the next group of exercises, we'll just check in. How much space do we have between our ears and our shoulders? If we start to realize that that space goes away, then go ahead and shake it out a little bit or give yourself some shoulder rolls for it. But we want to try and make as much space here as possible without shoving our shoulders down to the ground. So for this next one, this is actually one of my absolute favorites. So we're going to put our hands up in front of our face. And slowly with your elbows, go ahead and push them together for your elbows and your forearms to meet as close as they can. It's okay if they don't touch. And then we're going to release it and slowly peel our elbows away and bring your hands down to your stomach, or however far down they want to go. If you feel any pain in your wrists, then you can keep your hands up a little bit higher. If you want a little bit of an extra stretch, you can really lightly push your palms together and just bring them down a little bit more. And you can let your elbows come out. For me, I feel it a lot in between my fingers and on the bottom part of my wrist. Good, and then go ahead and repeat that. We'll bring our hands up, sew in the elbows, sew in the forearms. And you can press it together gently right here. And then slowly peel away the elbows, peel away the forearms. And bring it back down. All the while, still nice big breath in. You can even time it. So with your inhale, we can bring our hands up and sew up the forearms. And with our exhale, we can peel it apart and bring those hands down. Excellent. Let's go for two more. So inhale it up, sew it up. And exhale it down. Great. Last one. Inhale, sew it up. And exhale, peel it down. Feels good to just breathe right now. I don't know about you. I didn't give myself a chance to do this today. Go ahead and shake it out. So a yoga pose that I really enjoy is the following, that I also do a lot when I'm sitting and practicing and I just need a quick break. So if we take our right hand, we're going to put our right hand under and our left hand over. So you can cross it at your elbows. And then as much as you can wrap your hands to meet. If you can't bring it all the way here, you can just put your hands as close together. That's totally fine. And really gently, we're just going to bring our elbows up. And you can bring your gaze up to your hands. And you'll feel this stretch quite a bit through those back shoulders to help release some of that tension there. And go ahead and breathe into it. If you want more of a stretch, you can lift those elbows up a little bit more. If you feel a little bit too much, then you can relax that a little bit as well. Go ahead, two more breaths into this, and your breath can be as audible as you can on your end. Great, and go ahead and unwind it. You can roll your shoulders out, and we'll do the opposite. So this time, here we go. Left hand underneath, right hand on top, cross at the elbows. I always get confused when I do this, especially if I'm also doing some yoga on it. And again, you can make your palms of your hands as close as possible, or if you can link them, you can also grab them. And very gently go ahead and raise those elbows. You can look up to the tips of your fingers too. And let's add a little motion this time. So let's inhale and raise it a little bit, and then exhale and we can just bend over really lightly and hunch the shoulders a little and relax those elbows. And then inhale, go ahead and raise those elbows up. And exhale, let it down. One more time, inhale up. Exhale, release it. Excellent. And you can roll those shoulders back. Great. We'll get back into the hands because I love stretching all of the tiny, tiny muscles that are here. So if we take our fingers and send that out in front of us like we're sending out, I don't know, I make the Spider-Man reference, but I've never seen Spider-Man. But if you want to spread out your spider webs, go ahead and do that. And really feel your fingers spread apart. If you need a reminder, just roll those shoulders back so that we have as much space as we can in between our ears and our shoulders. And we're just gonna hold this for a minute. And you might start to feel, for me, I feel a big stretch right here, but really spread those fingers. And as you're doing this, you can also breathe into the tip of each finger like we did at the beginning of our body scan. This is also a really good exercise to start to strengthen some of the muscles in our hands too. And just make sure that those muscles are quite balanced in the way that we strengthen them. We'll do 2 more breaths right here. And 1 more. Great, and go ahead and shake it and release. So we'll bring our spidey senses back out in front of us, and this time gently roll your palms up to the sky. And again, because we spend so much of our time practicing in this position, we want to offset this. So hold out your hands like you're accepting, I don't know, there's sun out today. So like you're trying to take in as much sun as you possibly can, and really spread those fingers out. Those shoulders are nice and relaxed. You can intensify the stretch by really lengthening the arms. And if that's too intense for you, you can relax it a little bit in towards you. You can also adjust this stretch. You'll feel it in some different places if you bring your hands close together versus if you slowly spread your arms apart. So for each of these, I can feel it in a different finger, or I start to feel it down the length of my arm as well. Excellent, and go ahead and shake it out. Great, all right, we're back to our spidey senses, and then we're up to a stop sign. And if you can imagine with the palm of your hand that you're trying to press up against a brick building, that's gonna help feel a little bit more stretch right here. If you wanted some more intense stretch, you're welcome to use one hand to pull back at your fingers, but at the same time, you're also pressing forward with the other. So you have this opposing force with it. I feel a lot like this today, but you're welcome to assist that. And same thing here. If you want to feel a different stretch in different parts of your body or in different fingers even, then you can expand that stretch a little bit. Always feeling like you're pressing so those hands are as flat as they can possibly be. Woo, that feels good. And don't forget to breathe into it, especially if it's an intense stretch. If it hurts, don't do it. But if it's an intense stretch, then it's great to be able to test our flexibility. Excellent, and go ahead and shake that out. Again, we have hands in front, and then this time we're just gonna gently dip our hands down like this. And again, just check in and make sure that we have some space. You can roll those shoulders back if you'd like. You can spread the fingers, or another stretch, you can keep them all closed up too. Same thing here. If you need a little bit of extra stretch, you're welcome to use one hand to press in, and at the same time, you're pushing this way with your other hand. Or you can try and make those hands as flat as possible here. And breathing into it. Great, go ahead and shake that out. Here's my second favorite. So I'm giving away all of my secrets today. So here we back our hands spread and down. And then one hand at a time, we're gonna really gently massage our fingers and bring just a little extra blood flow to it. So you can nicely massage, and when you get to the bottom, you can spend some time and move that finger back and forth. If you need a little bit of an extra stretch, you can pull it back, but not necessary. We're just massaging it out. So you can go one finger at a time, all the while trying to keep almost a straight line from your shoulder to your wrist. And when you get to your thumb, just a really gentle tug on the thumb. And then you can shake it out. We'll switch it over to the other side. This is also an exercise that I did in a yoga class, and it was so relaxing. And we spent about 15 minutes just massaging our hands. And I forget, as a clarinetist, this feels really, really nice to do. Great. And then to the thumb. Super. And shake it out. And I have a variation on this one. So if we come out and we give stop hands, I'll do my right hand first. So I'm going to rotate it as far as feels comfortable. Again, you might feel that your forearm is involved or your upper arm is involved a little bit. And we're going to do the same thing. Again, really gently massaging. And then when you get to the tip of your finger, as gently as you need to, you can just pull it back a little bit to feel an extra stretch up here. You can time your inhale and exhale for each finger just to remind yourself to keep breathing. And as straight of a line from your your shoulder to your wrist as you can. When you get to your thumb, you can put your other hand underneath and just really gently massage it, and just a gentle tug back to give some extra space. And then shake it out. We can do the other hand. So we have a stop sign and then rotate it out. Same thing, a nice massage for each finger. With an inhale and an exhale. Woo, half an hour goes by very, very fast. This is great. When you get to the end of every fingertip, you can just give a little extra tug if you want it, a little extra pull back to the point of a stretch, not the point of pain. And then when you get to your thumb, you can support your hand with your other hand, with the opposite hand, and gently pull out, and a nice pull back. Great. And then we'll do a couple windshield wipers back and forth. Again, each of these exercises are most effective when we can do them for about a minute and a couple times a day, but at least once a day to start to make this a habit. And then you might see that maybe you feel more flexible, or some of these stretches might feel a little bit more comfortable. There's always a way to make a deeper stretch, and there's always a way to modify it if you have any injury or if you have any pain with it. Go ahead and make fists, and you can roll out those wrists. It's okay to have your elbows involved or maybe your shoulders involved. If you want to dance it out, you're also welcome to do that. Feels good just to make some natural kind of motion. And then go ahead and roll them out the opposite direction. Great. Go ahead and take a nice deep breath in. And as we breathe in, go ahead and sweep those arms up. When we get to the top, go ahead and bring those palms together. Nice deep breath in, and then we're going to come down in front of us here. And then as much as you want to feel the stretch, we can send our fingertips forward and we can start to rotate it down. Wherever feels comfortable for you. Again, you might feel that there's a little bit of force or a little bit of pushing those hands together. We'll do one more of those. Go ahead and relax it. Big, nice deep breath in. Let those hands touch at the top. And down to the front. A little bit of pushing together at the palms. And then gently pointing the fingers out and then down as much as you'd like to. And breathe into it. Excellent. And go ahead and shake it out. So one of my favorite yoga poses is cat-cow. And again, when we're practicing for a very long time, our spine can start to get quite tight and quite stiff. So cat-cow is a really great way to do this. And you can do this sitting up as well. So we put our hands on our laps and take a nice deep breath in. And we're going to lift our chest up to the sky. And you might feel there's a gentle bend here in the back. We can roll those shoulders back. And on our exhale, we're going to roll forward. Feel like your stomach is pressing back, almost like you're hunched over a little bit. And then inhale, chest up to the sky, shoulders can roll back. You can tilt your chin up if you'd like. And exhale, belly button goes back towards your back. Your shoulders come forward. And one more, inhale, chest up to the sky. And exhale, belly button back, shoulders come forward. Excellent, and shake it out. And one more for you. We'll go through this one a little bit quickly. So one stretch that for me always feels great is if I target these intercostal muscles, or the muscles in between the ribs right here. So sometimes this is nice to do while you're sitting, and you can put one hand on the ground, but you can also do this when you're standing. So we're gonna just tilt the head to whatever way you want to. And with the opposite arm, go ahead and press out. So that we're making a long line from the tip of our head, through our chin, through our shoulders, to our wrists. And you might feel that that stretch starts to target right here. If that's too much, you can let that arm relax, that's okay. If you want more of a stretch, bring the arm back just a little bit behind you. And nice deep breaths into that stretch. Beautiful, and shake it out. And go ahead and tilt gently to the other side. And for that added stretch, opposite arm goes and pushes out as flat as you can make that palm. And if you need the extra stretch, shift that arm a little bit back. And breathe into that breath. Breathe into the stretch. Beautiful, and shake it out. And let's just go back to our first posture of relaxing into the ground. If you're standing, feel all of the weight into your heels, into the ball of your feet. If you're sitting down, feel all of the weight of the hips into your chair. You can wiggle into your most comfortable position. And just let your arms hang. Let your shoulders relax and hang back. And a deep breath in and out.